Okay, Edna, remember, if you can teach one kid one thing, then today will be a success.
In education today, there are many challenges, one of them being the use of technology. Cell phones in the classroom is a hot topic of debate and how we incorporate them. In our modern world, cell phones are a normal object in our lives. It has become an accessory almost as important as wearing clothes. We are digitally connected 24 hours a day, anytime, anywhere on the planet. It is not uncommon for most school-age kids to own their own cell phones. In fact, cell phone owners are getting younger and younger. According to a new study, 83% of middle schoolers, 39% of fifth graders, and 20% of third graders all have their own mobile devices. Since kids have such easy access to cell phones, should they be used in a classroom setting? There are many people who question whether kids can handle the responsibility of having a cell phone in the classroom on a regular basis. There's so many distractions today that kids face, such as texting, Instagram, Snapchat, YouTube. The list really goes on and on and on. Professor Sherry Turkle from MIT explains,
I teach at MIT. I teach the most brilliant students in the world. But they have done themselves a disservice by drinking the Kool-Aid and believing that a multitasking learning environment will serve their best purposes. There really are important things you cannot think about unless it's still and you're only thinking about one thing at a time. There are just some things that are not amenable to being thought about in conjunction with 15 other things.
Now, class, please pay attention.
on the other hand, kids are very confident in their ability to handle the life in a multitasking learning environment. So professors at Stanford University decided to put this to the test. This experiment was led by Professor Clifford Nass, in which for the first time ever, students' brains were being imaged to determine really how good of multitaskers they are. The results of this study showed that even the most extreme multitasking student actually performs slower on tasks and not as effective than if they were not multitasking. There's also evidence in test scores that kids are distracted by technology in the classroom. Professor David Jones from MIT has had experience with this in his own classroom.
Sorts of things you can test students about. You can test how well they're paying attention in lecture, and you can test how well they're absorbing information from readings that you assign. And I don't think they're doing either of those things well. I have no idea how that's possible. I just gave my class a midterm, and I was really asking obvious questions that had they been attending carefully in lecture, and had they been doing the readings carefully, everyone should have gotten 100% on this exam, and the mean score was probably about a 75%. It's not that the students are dumb. It's not that they're not trying. I think they're trying in a way that's not as effective as it could be because they're distracted by everything else.
These situations can lead kids to feel disappointed because they truly feel they are working hard to do a good job. But in reality, they are struggling because they are falling victim to the temptations of technology. Having cell phones in the classroom on a regular basis would increase the chances for distraction and reduce learning.
Could you at least set them to vibrate?
Another ethical issue from having cell phones in the classroom is cyberbullying. There are times when kids have been made fun of at school because of easy access to cell phones. Kids will react to situations and post things fast before they can really ever have time to think about what exactly is taking place. Or different events at school are recorded and posted against the will of others. These hurtful situations are so embarrassing for kids and can lead to depression that could follow them into adulthood. If cell phones were not allowed in the classroom, these cyberbullying occurrences would be greatly reduced because they would not have such easy access to instantly document every thought or action that takes place in their lives for the whole world to see.
Why do you all need cell phones?
Safety.
Emergency.
Safety. Educational.
It is estimated in a new study conducted by Media Research Lab that American kids are now spending, on average, 44 and a half hours a week connected to the internet. Kids eventually become so dependent and addicted to online or social media interactions that can be harmful to their health and their development. Quite often, kids lose track of time when online or stay up late, causing them to be extremely tired throughout the day. Kids will spend time online in place of studying or doing homework. This leads to a drop in grades and test scores. Digital temptation is so strong that kids lose interest in family or friends due to their preference of being online. In some cases, kids become irritable, moody, or depressed when not online. According to new information, where kids across America were being surveyed on how often they were being cyberbullied, data was recorded from 2007 all the way up to 2015. And as you can see, the data shows that instances increased as time went on. Dr. Douglas Gentile, the director of the Media Research Lab, stresses that parents and educators must find a balance for kids and their internet activities so that screen time is not robbing them of real-world experiences. Cell phones in the classroom allow kids to have access to too many applications that are not necessary in the learning environment. Most schools in America have their own technology. The way this looks can vary from school to school, but some can be in a computer lab setting, or there could be a laptop cart that is pushed into each classroom, or each student could have their own computer in which they are responsible for and they take back and forth to school. Since schools already have their own technology, there really is not a need for cell phones in the classroom. By using the school's technology, kids would not have access to their cameras or any social media account. Using school technology provides protection against unwanted outside sources. The firewall blocks kids from restricted sites and also prevents communication with strangers. Computer screens are also easier for teachers to monitor what exactly is taking place in the classroom versus a very small handheld screen that a cell phone provides students with. When there are no cell phones in the classroom, teachers do not have to spend their valuable teaching time trying to monitor phone activity. Using the firewall will result in a reduction of technology disciplinary write-up reports. This will allow teachers to focus more on what's really important, teaching instruction.
That's it. Everything in the box. No more gizmos in this class.
Parents prefer their children to have their cell phones with them throughout the school day. This is due to safety issues. If anything were to happen at school, parents like the comfort in knowing that their children are able to get a hold of them. Also, children are so busy nowadays, it is just very convenient for parents to be able to communicate back and forth with their children throughout the day of what they're doing. This is very understandable, but to make both teachers and parents happy, students should keep their cell phones in their lockers, not in the classroom. And if there ever comes a need where a student does need to get a hold of their parents, they can do so from their locker. Kids are on their cell phones for most of their waking hours. They should not be incorporated into the regular classroom unless the teacher directs them to do so. Cell phones in the classroom opens the door for cyberbullying, many unwanted distractions, health problems, and low achievement scores.